Good morning. Sorry, a little bit slow because I had to clear away the snow, so I'm a little bit late. It's Tuesday, January 16th. All right, so hope you had a nice weekend. Quick look at the macro first. TLT, our North Star. Look, we're down 1.1%. IWM 1%. ARC 1.4%. So, all right, people are probably concerned. So, what do? We take a look at TLT, make sure where we're at. Last week we had conflicting, but I've heard a lot of interpretations of the CPI that it was actually better than what the headlines seem to suggest. So maybe that's why we are above. Oh, look at this. TLT at 95.39. The 200 DMA at 95.39 right now. Wow, this is our line in the sand. It worked so well for us on the way up. We gave you that target before that FOMC meeting, and we said if it crosses that 200 DMA, bull is on, and that's when IWM, RK, etc. exploded. It worked so well on the way up. I think you got to give it heat on the way down. Now, on the way down, if it does close below 95.39 today, then your next support's not too far away at 93.51, and then maybe we can resume the bull market. But I do think if we break below 95.39, it can cause some further acute disruptions with risk assets, IWM, ARKK, et al. Let's just look at that for a second. Let's look at where IWM is. IWM is not in a great spot. Where are we? 191.35. Where's the top of this gap here? It's 192.93. So it's already below that level, but it went below it the other day, which was 191.30. So we're back at retesting Thursday's low in pre-market here, which is not a great look. Look, we have a potential to move down to the top of this candle here, 187.23. So 187, I would say IWM's range bound right now between 187.23 and the 20 DMA at 197.81. So we'll call it 187 to 198. We're in a range right now, 187 to 198. That 50 DMA you're seeing at 185.43 can maybe move up to 187. So they meet there. So a little bit in a touchy situation here, but if TLT, this might be a bounce day, I don't know, off of TLT at that key level, but things are a little bit, not as favorable. Therefore, when we pick these stocks, it's not like risk on and what, like I got out of things like what was it? These risk assets were in my favorite Snap. Like things like Snap, I reduced my position on Chewy. Like I started selling these things off over the last week or so. And I think I'm really focused on catalysts that can buck the market trend. Now, before we go to those catalysts, just quick on geopolitics. Actually, not quick because it's related to some of our picks. Geopolitics here. Houthis again attacked a ship in the Red Sea successfully. This time, you can see Zim is up 5.5%. If you got into the re-entry on Friday, I suggest selling at the open, up 5.5% here from Friday. We're at 14.22. We'll look at the chart in a second. It's not going to be a top pick because we got some other stuff going on. And then also very important, IRGC, this is Iran Revolutionary Guard, took responsibility for directly attacking a U.S. consulate in northern Iraq, and there was significant damage there. So I think that could be bullish oil, USO. How's USO doing? It's flat this morning. Could be bullish oil, but also I actually think it's kind of bullish Zim in a way because they're stepping it up. They're not afraid. They're escalating, and Iran is behind the Houthi attacks, right? So if Iran is willing to take direct action into northern Iraq, well, they're probably going to really push the Houthis and maybe any other assets they have or proxies they have, or maybe they'll even do at some point direct attacks on shipping. So I think USO and Zim still have positive tailwinds, just not going to be the top pick of the day. And again, we will look at Zim. A little bit of news in TGB and AMD, just want to let you know about, but they're not going to be the top picks. TGB gave an update on the Florence mine. I own this since all the Florence things came out. Maybe I'll get a move today. Take a look at the update, but not going to be a top pick. Okay, AMD had an upgrade. Just noting that for you here. Who was the upgrade from? I forget. KeyBank raised to 195 from 170. So you see a 2.5% pop in pre-market. I don't really love the chart. That's one reason I'm not making it number one pick. Now, I guess if it goes over 150.89, it goes over 150.89, and you can see that 151, call it 151.05, then yeah, maybe you can make a quick move to 155. But I think I got better things. So, all right. Also, Starbucks had an upgrade you should know about. Starbucks had an upgrade from Morgan Stanley, 112 to 120. So notable catalysts out for TGB, Starbucks, and Brain Freeze. The one I just covered, AMD. All right, so now moving on to what I think could be the top picks for the day. First of all, we got to mention Bitcoin holding the 50 DMA, at least trying to. This is a very important level, 42,683. Now, it can have some tails below it, but if it doesn't recover like within a day, if it stays, if it has a closed candle below that 50, with the next support somewhere here around 38,000, okay? Around 38,000 where we took off. All right, so be careful of that. I do want to suggest maybe Iron can be a play today on this bounce off the 50 DMA of Bitcoin. So Iron, look, it's perfectly touching that 50 DMA here at 512. RSI is getting reset kind of low. So if you believe Bitcoin's going to hold this 50 DMA, I think it's a good entry for Iron. But then again, Bitcoin might not hold that 50 DMA. All right, but Iron's an idea for you today. Let me go more into, I think I got three really good top picks for you. All right, uranium. We're going to talk about uranium. We're going to talk about MSOS. We're going to talk about Tesla short, and we're going to take a closer look at that Zim chart. Oops. Take a closer look at that. Oh, I did it again. Let's go. We're going to take a closer look at that Zim chart. And before I do that, though, a couple things I want to mention. BA short. If you've been in with that pre-market, hit or target. Target was 214, so time to exit, I think. All right. It could go lower if you switch to the weekly, right? Maybe we get a 195 or whatever in the next few weeks, but like we were totally on top of this trade if you've been with us on the morning show every morning. So hitting our target here at 214, it's 211 this morning. Time to close that out. Ring register on BA. Congrats if you took that trade. All right. Air, just want to mention, especially if the market's being down, okay, our swing target here is, where is it? It's on a weekly. Let's go to the weekly. There it is, 1541. 1541 swing target on Air. Okay, so that continues to be in play as well. And then if I have time, I'm going to mention Yatra. All right, but let's go to these potential top picks. I'm going to start with Tesla. Elon Musk tweeted yesterday a comment which was very concerning. He said regarding AI and robotics, that he's not going to be, interested in doing that under the flag of Tesla if he does not own a 25% voting stake in Tesla. He owns 15% of Tesla shares right now. There is some sort of ongoing lawsuit regarding compensation that's going through the court system before the board takes up his compensation at Tesla. So that's something that's on hold, and he's kind of putting that out there as a threat. But I don't even know if the board can do anything about it right now because they're waiting for this court issue to be resolved. I'm not so sure what that court issue is about, but basically he's saying if I don't get to 25% voting rights, I'm going to do AI and robotics, probably under X or something like that. This is a huge, huge, important item coming out of Tesla today. Let's take a moment to appreciate the story trading philosophy that markets are efficient, that the price you see is the correct price, right? Why? If you look at like a fundamental investor is going to say, no, Tesla's overvalued. It's always been overvalued. They're like, no, the market price is correct. Why? Because there's sentimental value in there as well. And part of that, big part of the sentimental value for Tesla is you have optionality upside on Elon Musk as an innovator. Okay. If Elon Musk is going out there and saying, AI and robotics might not be a part of Tesla, I don't care what the even if there are fundamentalists who have something on a spreadsheet and saying, hey, AI and robotics can be worth this much, and now let's back that out today because he spoke about AI and robotics today. Like, that's not how the world works. It's about sentiment. And the sentiment says, well, it might not only be AI and robotics, it might be all kinds of other stuff in the future too. This is a crack in that thesis that when I'm investing in Tesla, I'm investing in Elon Musk as an innovator, and I might get all kinds of other stuff that I haven't even thought about yet, right? And that's the stuff that drives fundamental investors crazy. They're like, where's this premium coming from? It's coming from the speculative value of things that no one's even thought about yet. And that speculative value is decreased today. It started to decrease today. Today is the catalyst for that sentiment value in Tesla to start coming down. So this is a big piece of news in Tesla I'm really concerned about. So I think the bias is going to be to the downside, not only today, but maybe for a swing period. We're already down 1.7%. I'm not sure that's enough to reflect the seriousness of the statement from Elon Musk. So now we turn to the charts. Turn to the charts to see where some targets might be. On the daily chart, it's a little bit not clear in here. So let's move the weekly. I think weekly might be a little more clear. Okay, yeah, weekly is more clear. We have support at 217.53, which we're already losing in pre-market. That's the 200-week moving average support line. And then after that, you see this 195, but I saw 207 earlier. Where did I see that? Maybe I did see the 207 in the daily. Okay, yeah, I guess I go. Okay, here we go. I lie. Let's go back to the daily right here. The bottom of this candle right here. Okay, 207 or so. I mean, it's not precise. Let's call the bottom of this candle 206.68. You can either I'm going 207. I'm rounding up the bottom of this red candle here to be right into that gap, kind of to see at the top of this gap is 205.99. Maybe you can call 206. Okay, 206, 207. That's going to be your first target. And the next target down here at like 194, which that you can more clearly see on the weekly as well. It's this little tail down here, 195. All right. So Tesla, I'm negative on it now. Is it going to achieve price targets like that today? Maybe. Let's go look at the other picks, and then we'll decide if this is more of just a swing initiation or kind of an urgent thing that, man, we're moving to 207 today, right? I'm going to reserve judgment on that for a few more minutes. All right. I said we're going to look at the Zim chart. We'll do that. But I got to cover news on uranium and MSOS. Let's do uranium first. Uranium has been something I've been long-term bullish on. I've had we've done a lot of interviews with people, experts on uranium on this a couple years ago. Man, I used to have a massive position, and I lost a little patience. My position got smaller and smaller as I started rotating into like NVIDIA and SMCI and exciting stuff like that with AI. So I got a position, not big enough. Big news came out Friday, which I overlooked, and now I fixing my mistake. There's some big uranium people I follow on Twitter, and I didn't have notifications on, so I turned my notifications on now. Okay, but anyway, you see this big gap. First of all, we had like a technical breakout Wednesday and Thursday, And then you had the big news on Friday. Friday was one of the major producers of uranium said they're going to have a shortfall, a long-term shortfall. All right, that I think they said like to have enough like for the rest of this year, but then like their long-term plans, it's going to be a severe shortage or something like that. Okay, it doesn't matter. Details don't matter too much here. Okay, everyone's been waiting for this. Well, the demand side, and now the supply side is an issue. There's things like what exploded to new all-time highs. Okay, I can't do technicals on stocks that are all-time highs. That's one of my weaknesses, which with how I do technicals, because I don't draw my own lines. I'm relying on all the existing lines here and the previous candles. Sometimes I can estimate it, like on a cup and handle breakout. But that's not even important. The point is here, there's a squeeze that's starting in the uranium sector. And when I say squeeze, I don't even mean the stock chart. I mean the fundamentals of uranium. You can see like utilities start like buying uranium out of panic in the next period. When I say period, I'm talking about quarters. Okay. This is a long-term, very bullish story for uranium. If you don't know about it, you should go read up on it. And I want to suggest to you that even though the stock is up significantly late last week and we missed it here on story trading, I want to suggest it's not too late to at least initiate a swing position. So, well, I have a swing position, but I'm going to, let me see if I was trying to add more uranium this morning. I don't think it went through yet. No, it didn't go through yet. So maybe I'm being a little too greedy trying to get a good price. I don't know. It's 57.34 by 57.89 this morning. But this is one of those things where you could possibly be overpaying if you buy this gap this morning. But at the same time, you know, I think it's worth it to buy the gap because it's a good swing, even from here with that news. And there is a possibility that even today with this gap, it continues flying. That's how strong the uranium supply demand story is. So uranium is definitely going to be a top 5 as both a swing and a day trade. Again, with the risk that we're buying the gap, it might not work today, but you're going to be good in a swing perspective. Okay, MSOS, similar story. I think the uranium news is better, but MSOS also had news Friday towards the end of the day when you saw MSOS like spiking there on a heavy volume right there. There was federal health representatives. They put some data out on Dropbox somewhere. I don't know that they basically said the risks of marijuana have been like overstated and it's safer. Is it even in here? I don't know if it's in here. I saw it on Twitter, but it's basically safer than other scheduled products and that we should reschedule it. Here we go. Reschedule it as a public safety imperative. All right. So some significant news out because they're using data saying it's safer than, you know, we thought. Okay. Or safer than other controlled products. So this could be a turning point. And if you look at the stock chart, the stock chart's also kind of telling you this could be a turning point. This is beautiful. Look at that 50-day week. The 50-week moving average, it broke out like a couple months ago as a false breakout, and now it's coming back to test the top of that cup there at like 910 or so. It's 865 in pre-market. So there's a lot going on. Election year, maybe they're going to really push that to get the left-leaning vote this year. So I think it could be time that this news, even though it's a gap up here, and we had a late move on Friday, it could be time to enter MSOS. And so I'm going to say something similar to uranium. We're going to put it in here in the top 5. We're buying the gap up. It might not work out today because we're buying the gap up, but it's a great swing in. Similar stories. I like uranium better, just fundamentally. I think the supply, you know, the dynamics there make much more sense from a fundamental perspective. So uranium and MSOS, in my mind, they're almost urgent buys, right? They're like, all right, I definitely am going to get into both of these on the gap today. It's just I'm not sure if today as a day trade, it'll be successful because it's always hard buying that gap on a Monday morning, especially when we're a little bit late to the news, right? The news for both of these came out Friday. So we're a day late. Buying the gap up on a Monday, a little bit tricky. But I think, again, the news is so important. You can buy this gap up, but just have some patience. Don't like leverage and use intraday buying power that you have to sell today. Whatever you buy today, you want to be able to keep for a period of time on uranium and MSOS. Okay. Let's look at the ZIM chart for a second to see what's going on here. Look, I like ZIM. I don't know. I like uranium and MSOS better today. ZIM has, I told you, the geopolitical catalyst still going on. I reviewed some of the fundamentals over the weekend. I saw an analyst note on this. saying that they're getting like an $800 million EBITDA boost this year. Zim market cap's 1.6 billion. Interesting. The analyst perspective said, basically avoid Zim because it's already increased by $800 million. Basically, they're saying do not put any earnings multiple. This is a one-time thing to get $800 million extra. That's now reflected in the stock. Market cap went up by 800 million, right? But the market cap went up from 800 million from the bottom, not from when the Houthi stuff started. So there's other tailwinds here that I think are not being appreciated by that analyst. I forgot which analyst it was. Maybe it was Canaccord or something. Is it in here? Let me see. Oh man, we're running late. So I don't know. You can go find it. All right. It's a. Okay, it is. Who is this? Barclays. Okay, it's Barclays. All right. So I think Barclays is kind of downplaying this a little bit here. I don't know. Maybe they want to get in. All right. So I like Zim long term. I'm just, I don't know about today, because we saw also last Monday, kind of like Monday mornings after the hype over the weekend, it could be a good time to sell, not necessarily a buy unless we get some pullback. So I'll be watching Zim for some pullbacks. I actually bought some for my retirement account on Friday, so I do still like it. Just I don't know if it's going to be a top pick today. All right, now let's go see. Did I mention Iron? Yeah, on the 50 DMA on Bitcoin bouncing. That's going to be number 5. That's just a technical play off of the 50. So that'll be the 4th or the 5th here, Iron. The question is, what comes first between Tesla, uranium, and the MSOS for today? And man, I'm like naturally a bull, so I like gravitate towards like my excitement for uranium. And in fact, that's the biggest pending order I have right now on my own account is I want to get uranium because I like the fundamentals. I like the long term. So we got uranium, Tesla, MSOS, maybe Zim on the pullbacks, and then Iron number 5, kind of more speculative here if Bitcoin holds, which it's holding so far. Okay. Any comments out there? Someone want to help me out today? What are we going to make the number 1 pick? I have to say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to divide between like kind of swing and day. I have to say uranium and MSOS are my top 2 as like swings. This is going to be my top focus. I'm going to be buying uranium and MSOS this morning. I don't have any exposure to MSOS. I want some. I have some exposure to uranium, not enough. So that's going to be my top focus for today. And then I guess if you're like a day trader, especially if you're doing options or something like that, then Tesla puts or just Tesla short looks interesting for a day trade today. Okay, so Tesla short. All right, I'm just going to put that as a third one just because of I'm naturally a bull and I like to focus on things I'm excited about. That's going to be uranium and MSOS. So uranium, MSOS long, Tesla short number 3 over here. And then Zim, I'm not going to jump on it. Let's actually make Iron, Zim and Iron kind of same level. Let's call it like the tied for 4. Okay. So we're going to try Iron on the technical bounce here. And Zim, we're going to look for spots. All right. Maybe if you want to keep some long term, that might make sense. We might get like a $3, $4, $5 dividend in Q2. No, Q1 when that's reported later on. So, all right. I think that's it. It's 9:26 p.m. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stocks to focus on. Uranium, MSOS long, Tesla short, Zim long on the dips, and maybe you want to have a long-term exposure that might make sense. And then Iron right here at the technical support, the 50 DMA. Those are your picks for the day. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you back here. I'll see you in the chat room throughout the day if anything major changes. If you see anything important in that chat room, let us know, and then we'll be back here at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Good luck, everyone.